Hey guys, it's Miss Hassan here, and I'm going to walk you through the lesson for the first writing assignment for the second week of our online learning for the week of April 13th through the 17th. Hope you guys had a great Easter and an extra long weekend, and are excited to get back to work here at school. All right, so last week we were talking about the diary of a lockdown kid, and this week we're going to be looking at Diary of a Wimpy Kid again, and we're going to be asking, what makes a good introduction? You wrote an outline last week for your introduction, but now we need to think about making that into an actual narrative for a good introduction. So to get started, you can click on this book or go to that link if you want to read it from the author's website, but he is actually, Jeff Kinney, gives us a sneak peek of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. If you have the book at home, even better. So I want you to be thinking, I'm going to be reading aloud, and I want you to be thinking, what makes this book have such a good introduction? And maybe what could I do in my writing so that my introduction of my Diary of a Lockdown Kid can be good? September, Tuesday. First of all, let me get something straight. This is a journal, not a diary. I know what it says on the cover, but when Mom went out to buy this thing, I specifically told her to get one that didn't say diary on it. Great. All I need is for some jerk to catch me carrying this book around and get the wrong idea. Sissy, punch. The other thing I want to clear up right away is that this was Mom's idea, not mine. But if she thinks I'm going to write down my feelings in here or whatever, she is crazy. So just don't expect me to be all, dear diary, this, and dear diary, that. The only reason I agreed to do this at all is because I figure later on, when I'm rich and famous, I'll have better things to do than answer people's stupid questions all day long. So this book is going to come in handy. Gregory, tell us about your childhood. Were you always so smart and handsome? Here's my journal. Now shoo shoo. Like I said, I'll be famous one day. But for now, I'm stuck in middle school with a bunch of morons. Let me just say for the record that I think middle school is the dumbest idea ever invented. You got kids like me who haven't hit their growth spurt yet, mixed in with these gorillas who need to shave twice a day. Out of my way, runts. And then they wonder why bullying is such a big problem in middle school. If it was up to me, grade levels would be based on height, not age. But then again, I guess that would mean kids like Chirag Gupta would still be in the first grade. Today is the first day of school, and right now we're just waiting around for the teacher to hurry up and finish the seating chart. So I figured I might as well write in this book to pass the time. By the way, let me give you some good advice. On the first day of school, you gotta be real careful where you sit. You walk into the classroom and just plunk yourself down on any old desk, and the next thing you know, the teacher is saying, I hope you all like where you're sitting, because these are your permanent seats. Gah! So, in this class, I got stuck with Chris Hosey in front of me and Lionel James in back of me. Jason Brill came in late and almost sat to my right, but luckily I stopped that from happening at the last second. Is this seat taken? Yes, yes. Next period, I should just sit in the middle of a bunch of hot girls as soon as I step into the room. But I guess if I do that, it just proves I didn't learn anything from last year. Greg, will you please pass this note to Shelley? Why, certainly. Man, I don't know what is up with girls these days. It used to be a whole lot simpler back in elementary school. The deal was, if you were the fastest runner in the class, you got all the girls. And in 5th grade, the fastest runner was Ronnie McCoy. Nowadays, it's a whole lot more complicated. Now it's about the kind of clothes you wear, or how rich you are, or if you have a cute butt or whatever. And kids like Ronnie McCoy are scratching their heads, wondering what the heck happened. The most popular boy in my grade is Bryce Anderson. The thing that really stinks is that I have always been into girls, but kids like Bryce have only come around in the last couple of years. I remember how Bryce used to act back in elementary school. Girls are stinky poo. Yeah, I don't think girls are stinky poos. But of course, now I don't get any credit for sticking with the girls all this time. Like I said, Bryce is the most popular kid in our grade, so that leaves all the rest of us guys scrambling for the other sports. The best I can figure is that I'm somewhere around 52nd or 53rd most popular this year. But the good news is that I'm about to move up one spot because Charles Davies is above me, and he's getting his braces next week. I tried to explain all this popularity stuff to my friend Rowley, who's probably hovering right around the 150 mark, by the way. But I think it just goes in one ear and out the other with him. All right. So that definitely hooked me in that book. I want you to stop and think now. Pause your video for a minute and think, what will I do to make my introduction hook my reader? Here's some ideas I came up with, but you might have more. Maybe you could add dialogue. So if you go back to those other pages where he has the kids talking to each other, it'd be kind of hard to do a speech bubble using your computer, but you could figure it out, or you could draw it and add it in, attach it as a picture. You could maybe add in a funny story of something that explains one of those details about you, or use your voice and show your personality through your words. So instead of just saying, I like dogs, I like coffee, you show your personality and be like, that is disgusting. So what will you do? For this next step, this is the first part of your assignment. You're going to click on the link or go to this Google form. You're going to answer that question for your teacher. What writing technique will you use to hook your reader? Are you going to use dialogue? Are you going to add in a funny story? Or are you going to show your personality? Or do you have your own idea? Maybe you do. You need to type it in here. Once you're done, you're going to submit this form. You're going to go back to your assignment because you're not done. Now that you have chosen your technique, it's time to write. So that information you wrote last week, we have put them into Google Docs. And it's going to look something like this. Here's mine. It's that same information, my topic, my first fact, my detail, my second fact, its detail, and my conclusion. But now you get to write. I want you to turn that outline into a fantastic introduction. I want you to hook that reader. Give them something fun to read. Tell them about you. Tell them how awesome you are. So, I'd like to give examples. So here's my example. Now, before I give you my example, let's go back to my outline. I'm going to read this one more time just so that you can remember. This was what I had. Very plain. Topic, Mrs. Hassan. Fact number 1. One thing I cannot live without is coffee. Detail. I drink at least 1 pot each morning. Fact number 2. If I could have any superpower, it would be to time travel. Detail. I would go back to when my kids were babies and hold them. Conclusion. Overall, no matter how busy my day is, I try to remember to enjoy and cherish each moment with my friends and family. Now, I don't know about you. I was already distracted and thinking about other things while I was reading out loud because it wasn't interesting. Guys, we have to hook our readers. So let's go back and let's see how I took that plain vanilla write-up of an outline and I turned it into an actual writing piece. Here's mine, but I know yours will be even better. This morning, I began my lockdown diary with not a cup of coffee, but my daily pot of coffee. I cannot live without coffee. It is essential. With everything going on in the world right now and families being asked to stay home and school canceled, I decided to write a diary so I could look back one day and remember what life was like during this crazy time. As a mom, it is apparent how fast time goes. It feels like only yesterday that my 2 kids were babies and now they are 8 and 10 years old. I love them at their current age, but sometimes I wish I had the power to time travel so I could go back and see them as babies. I guess that's what I'm hoping this diary will do for me. It will be my portal back to 2020 so I can remember this time in my life too. Overall, it's about cherishing each moment and living in the present. Hopefully this diary will help me to do this. So before I turn the slide, I want you to guess, what did Mrs. Hassan do in her writing? Did I add dialogue? Did I add a funny story? Did I add voice? I added voice. My writing sounds like me. It has personality. I'm telling you about my feelings. I'm not just giving you facts. This is one of your options. If you want to do voice, then you want to show your voice through it, just like I did. All right, go write. You can do it, and we're here if you need any help. That's it for now. Have fun.